In this video, I'll be talking about what happens when you realize that choosing narcissists and highly toxic people has become a pattern for you in your life. I'll be talking about why this is a habit for a lot of people, and more importantly, what you can do if this seems to be something that applies to you. Number 1, codependency issues. When someone talks about being codependent, there is a lot more to talk about than the typical, being codependent must mean that we need a partner to survive, and I don't really fit that role, so I can't be codependent. It might not necessarily be true. There's a big misconception that people seem to think that's all codependency is. Someone has to have a partner or they don't feel complete. So I want to talk a little bit about that. If you're a people pleaser, if you need validation desperately from other people, if you get really upset when someone doesn't like you, if you try hard to make people like you, if you go out of your way to get people to like you, if you care about other people's problems and issues more than they care about their own, those are actually other signs of possibly having codependency issues. And we can clearly see why, for a narcissist, they would just love someone codependent. Who wouldn't love someone to just run their life, take over, fix their problems, try harder than they would ever have to, and desperately keep seeking attention from someone narcissistic? Narcissists can very easily identify somebody like this and just latch onto them. Someone wants to give and fix and solve and help and love and be there no matter what. The narcissist completely uses this to their advantage. They take, and they're always in control. Having moderate or high levels of codependency will always make somebody a narc magnet. Number 2, having high levels of empathy. Having a lot of empathy is something that a narcissist is also extremely attracted to. And therefore, if you have this quality, you might also feel like you're a little bit of a narc magnet. Empathy is a lot of understanding how somebody else feels, being very loving, open, supportive. That also means you put up with a lot of bullshit from a narcissist. They love codependency, they love empathy, and they will use this to keep their supply. You might hear things like, no one gets me the way you do. No one understands me the way you do. I know I can always come to you when I need help. You are just always there for me. You'll always be there to save me. You might hear something like, I can tell how much you love me. I can tell how much I mean to you because you're just always there. You're always so supportive. You always help fix me. They might even tell you all of those qualities that they are so stuck on and attracted to. Highly empathic and codependent people will absolutely eat up compliments like that from a narcissist. It makes you feel good about yourself. You're being appreciated and acknowledged that you are respectful and helpful and open and all those things. But the narc is also saying, hey, I know you're a doormat and you'll always be here no matter how shitty I treat you. Thanks for always letting me steamroll you and make you feel bad. We just don't see that in those compliments. We just eat them up and they make us feel good, but we don't see that undertone there where a narcissist says those things but kind of has a smirk on their face because they're taking complete advantage of the situation. Number 3. You choose narcissists because you're just unfamiliar with narcissism. If you haven't seen much narcissism in your life, something might seem off. You're unable to put a finer point on what's happening with this person. Once you date someone or marry someone, whatever, who acts like this, you're then prone to date more people because this behavior just becomes normalized to you and to other people as well. What we were once naive about, we just kind of see it as, well, this is just the way things are. We don't know anything about narcissism or toxic relationships or anything. This is just the way it is. The pattern develops and we go forward from there. Number 4, your past. Most of us have had a few issues with our parents or immediate family. Parents and siblings and family dynamics play a big role in why we choose who we choose for romantic partners. Whoever is raising us is who builds us, who shapes us into who we are, or at least helps along the way anyhow. And this is where bullshit can instantly become normalized, like I just talked about. In my own home, I saw my father being moody, nasty, cold, mean, lying, cheating, and everything else. And then I watched my mom for the first 16 years of my life take this abuse with a scary sense of, well, now you don't do that again and everything will be okay. I'll go ahead and make this work kind of attitude. And as I grew up, I chose assholes like my father and handled it exactly the way my mom did. Well, this is who I picked. This is who I chose. This is what I have to put up with. You keep your relationship together. You work hard. And I know for a fact a lot of us have done things extremely similarly to how some of our parents did things. Our past can absolutely set us up for failure in the adult world of romance, but we can 100% fix all of that, which I'm going to talk about here a little later on in the video. Number 5, your self-esteem. As flat out just fucked up as this sounds, we choose what we think we deserve. We choose what we feel we're worth. And I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but we do. When your self-esteem is low, you're not picking option number 1. You're picking that low-hanging, sad, easy fruit. You have no boundaries. You have no standards. You're doing whatever you want and acting with wild abandon. Anything will do. Get offended about it all you want, but it's true. It's exactly what we do. Our self-esteem needs an overhaul when we're dealing with people like this. In a lot of cases, we had low self-esteem and some of those issues before we even met these people. But then we get blindsided in love bombing as they build us up, only to knock us down lower than we ever were in the first place. Low self-esteem, whether we want to hear it or not, leads to incredibly bad, fear-based decisions. Number 6, you pick narcissists because you're addicted to drama. Some people pick narcs and do it over and over again because they love the fun, the excitement, the charisma, the drama, the problems, the issues, and everything else that a narcissist will provide in mass quantities. Plenty of people get hooked on what a wild ride it can seem to be with a person like this. But drama is nothing that you want to be hooked on. If you feel like your life is dull, I gotta direct you to go and get a hobby. This is really something that you don't want to become addicted to. There is a difference between fun and excitement and drama and abuse. And you might want to ask yourself, why do I feel like this is something I need in my life? If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a toxic, narky relationship, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats with me. So, fixing all this, the whole point of all this, making sure that the last narc romantically is the last one that we ever, have to deal with. Let's start fixing all this stuff if we can. Standards, number 1, first and foremost. Standards. Get them. Why are you settling for people? What makes you think that you suck so bad that you have to pick the first weirdo you see? Standards. Is religion important? College education? Money? Kids? Living situation? Sit down and ask yourself what is acceptable and what isn't. Do you want someone with a 4-year degree? Do they have to make a certain amount of money? What values do they have? What values does someone need to have? Is there a certain code of ethics they need to follow? What are those things? What are your standards on all this stuff? Find out what they are because you don't know. You think you know. I thought I knew. You don't. Find out what your standards are. Remove people who don't meet them. If narcs are still getting through, that only can ever mean one thing. Your standards are still too low. Continue to raise them. Boundaries, number 2. Get those too. I sure as hell didn't have any. I know I'm not alone. What are your deal breakers? What is someone not going to do to you ever again? Manipulating, stealing, cheating, lying. Those are the pretty much main ones. But what are the consequences? More than boundaries, what are the consequences when someone violates a boundary? We need consequences. Consequences are actions. Now, there's a big difference and a huge misconception, I feel, when it comes to consequences for someone violating your boundaries and stepping all over your toes and doing whatever they want. People think tone is a consequence. And I'm here to tell you, But that's just simply not true. You yelling and screaming and crying and calling them out on their bullshit and trying to bully them around with your words and scare them and push them around, that's all tone. Your words, they're a can of hot air, and a narcissist doesn't give a fuck. Tone is not a punishment. A scare tactic is not a punishment. Trying to bully them or call them out and go, I'm smarter than you. I see what you're doing. Yeah, they don't care. You're not doing anything. You're just looking at them and going, I see what you're doing. And the narcissist nods their head and goes, and you're just going to keep letting me do it. Tone has no consequence. Denying someone access to you because they can't act right, that's punishment. That's consequence. Dumping their ass is a punishment. And again, denying access, moving forward with your life. Punishment can and should be doled out when a person cannot do what is asked of them. Now, in all fairness, we have to let people know what our standards are. We have to let people know what our boundaries are. We need to say that in a very open, not aggressive, not passive aggressive kind of way. People are not mind readers. We do need to set the stage and let people know what is expected of them. Then when those boundaries are violated, we can go ahead and go from there. But you can't keep those to yourself. And then when they get violated, lash out and panic or do something perhaps drastic. You need to at least give everybody a heads up as to what you will tolerate and what you won't. Number 3, confidence. Get it. Boosting your self-esteem is number 1, your responsibility, and it's vital. Work on feeling good about yourself. Do not trust your self-esteem with a person who has none of their own. Never trust an insecurity-riddled narcissist to make you feel good about yourself. Go and get that on your own. Learn how to boost your own self-esteem. Do things that make you happy. Spend your time, effort, and energy where you are loved, wanted, and appreciated, where you can feel good about yourself. Learn how to break codependency. That can sometimes take a bit, but we can start with no contact. No contact will help break codependency, and all those other things I just listed will help break codependency, but no contact. Stop talking to these losers. What are you waiting for? Yeah, it hurts. It hurts like fuck. It's gonna suck. You can go ahead and quote me on this. Deal with it. It hurts until it doesn't hurt anymore. What are you waiting on? More hurt? More pain, more anguish, more fights that don't go anywhere, more cheating, more lying, more bullshit. Are you done or are you done? The only one waiting on you is you. What are you waiting for? It hurts. Guess what? It's probably going to hurt more. Probably going to hurt harder. So do it. Therapy is a big one. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a therapist. Try support groups. Get real help and support for what you're going through because you don't have to do it all by yourself. Stop going back to where you got hurt, looking for closure, looking for conversations, healing, and all this stuff. You're not going to find it where you got hurt. You don't have to give it one more try. Make the decision to give yourself one more try to start making your life better. Tell me down in the comments why you believe you chose narcissists. Is this a pattern for you? What did you do to move forward in a better, positive direction? Thank you to all my channel members and subscribers for your support. If you haven't, I invite you to subscribe for more videos every week on narcissistic abuse, education, awareness, and support. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.